If you're having a hard time manifesting, if you find yourself resisting your desired state, or you're finding it difficult to sustain your manifestations, then it's most likely a self-concept issue. Our goal as conscious manifestors is to make manifesting as easy as possible for us. We want to actually sustain and keep our manifestations when they get here by undergoing any necessary identity shifts. The way I see it is that there are two main parts to really getting just how important the self-concept is and why manifestation can seem to be hard when your self-concept is not solid. First, you have to understand what the self-concept is, and second, you have to understand how manifestation actually occurs. And this will really help you conceptualize what is meant when people say that you are always manifesting. But more specifically, I really want you to understand that you are always manifesting from your self-concept. My name is Tia. I like talking about conscious manifestation. It's changed my life in a relatively short amount of time. That is, once I actually figured out what I was doing, so that you don't waste your time or effort listening to misleading advice, because I've been there before and I know it's not fun. It's just time to be honest about conscious manifestation and what it entails, and to really stop selling it like it's magic. Anyways, so it seems that the self-concept has been severely distorted in the law of assumption community, and I've seen a lot of questions along the lines of, is working on my self-concept necessary to manifest? I can't get my specific person. Should I work on self-concept instead? Even questions like, is it worth it to work on my self-concept? Now, to me, these are strange questions to ask, bordering on wild, and they indicate that the person hasn't grasped what manifestation is or how it works. I've also seen coaches talk about the self-concept as if it's synonymous with self-love or some form of self-care. And while yes, conscious manifestation is a beautiful way to take care of your needs, this is still not what the self-concept is. Practicing self-care can be an aspect of your self-concept, but it is not your self-concept. So I really want to clear this up for you, because this is such a big topic and it's something that you really have to understand, okay? This is fundamental to your practice. Listen to me. It's going to lay the groundwork for what you will be able to manifest. So you cannot skip this part. As a conscious manifestor, you cannot avoid doing the inner work. If you do that, you'll be chasing technique after technique and wonder why your life still looks the same. So your self-concept runs your life, okay? It absolutely runs your life because it's your identity. Your self-concept is the idea of yourself, which actually entails a lot of things. It's what you actually believe to be true about yourself as well as other people and things in the world. It sounds so small, but like I said, this is a big topic. It includes the beliefs you have about yourself and other people, like your friends, your family, strangers, even the generalizations you have about certain groups of people, such as men are like this and women are like that. Even what you believe about people from different cultures and backgrounds. The self-concept also includes your beliefs about everything else you know of in this world, like your beliefs around health and fitness, institutions such as education or religion, your beliefs about marriage, like do you believe marriages are pointless and tend to fail? Is it just a piece of paper? Or maybe you have a belief that says you have to work hard for your money because society said so. Like I said, I don't think a lot of people realize how big the self-concept is. So these assumptions are all part of our self-concept, and we hold these assumptions in our conscious awareness. Okay, our self-concept creates and influences the lens through which we see the world. For example, if you take two women that have very different beliefs about men, let's say one believes men are violent and the other believes men are generally good people. Those two women are going to move through this world very differently. The one that believes men are violent will most likely be in a state of high anxiety around men. She'll most likely fear them. If she's choosing a partner, she might actually unconsciously choose a partner with some violent tendencies, because that is reaffirming a belief she has within herself. That is what feels the most familiar to her and will reaffirm her beliefs about men. And that's another thing about the self-concept, is that it is related to the self-fulfilling prophecy, because the choices we make in life tend to reaffirm our core beliefs. So for example, if you believe you're unlovable without even being aware that you're doing this, okay, unconsciously, you're most likely going to choose the person that makes you feel like you have to work for their love. Simply put, the self-concept is a sum of all of the ideas we have about ourselves and everything else. But for manifestation purposes, we want to focus on the self-concept as, who do I truly believe I am? The self-concept is not a superficial thing. What I mean by this is that it's not what you think you know of yourself, it's actually what you truly believe about yourself. An emphasis on truly believe. It's not who you think you are, but it's who you actually are. And yes, there's a difference. There's a difference between what you think and what you believe about yourself. What you think about yourself is at the forefront of your consciousness, and it's generally made up of facts and things you think are true about yourself based on your life experiences. So that means what we actually believe to be true about ourselves is located in a deeper level of our consciousness, specifically the subconscious level. Okay, the subconscious mind, while it is still a component of our consciousness, in psychology and neuroscience, we also refer to it as the unconscious mind. So you can think of your subconscious mind as the unconscious part of your total consciousness. Your subconscious mind holds the beliefs about yourself that you are not actually aware of. So for example, if someone asked me to describe myself, I'd say, my name is Tia, I'm a tall girl, I'm a neuroscientist, I work at XY company. So up to here, these are all facts about myself. Then I could claim to be confident, that I like meeting new people, that I deserve to be treated like a total princess by my boyfriend, and I plan to be successful in my future. Now, these are things I think to be true about myself, but are they actually true? Although I claim to be confident, why did I freeze and get anxious when I had to present in front of 250 people? Why did my voice get shaky when giving my maid of honor speech? I also said that I know I deserve princess treatment from my boyfriend, so why do I constantly take disrespect from him and accept when he doesn't show up for me? I also claim that I plan to be successful in my future. If that's the case, then how come I sabotage myself every time I get so close to my goals? So, as you can see, who I think I am and who I actually am are two separate things. A lot of us don't see ourselves clearly. A lot of us don't know ourselves as well as we think. So when someone asks if self-concept is important to manifest, absolutely. You should tell them that self-concept is all there is. That's all that's manifesting. It's your I amness. And because you are the operant power of your reality, you see everything through the lens of your I amness. And to show you just how deep this stuff is, I want to compare two hypothetical scenarios. And in both of these examples, I'm going to mention childhood, but I am not suggesting that you have to do inner child work or anything. I know some people find it helpful. The only reason I'm bringing up childhood is because I want you to see how these beliefs form in the first place and how we end up carrying them for our entire lives, particularly those of us that don't know anything about the law of assumption and how these assumptions get pushed out. And that's really sad, to carry a lifetime of negative assumptions about yourself. So just be glad you're here and you're aware of the law of assumption. And if you're not practicing it, you definitely should, because you deserve to live such a beautiful life. All I'm doing is just showing you where your self-concept comes from so you can clearly identify any patterns. But seriously, you do not need to get fixated on your childhood. It's not necessary. This is just more of a self-discovery kind of thing. Okay, so let's get into our two hypotheticals. So first, let's take Alyssa. And as a child, her father was very attentive to her needs. He was always there for her when she needed him. She saw how beautifully he treated her mother. Whenever he made her a promise, he would always deliver. So because Alyssa's father is a positive male figure in her life, we can assume Alyssa's self-concept regarding men is that men are safe, they take care of me, men are respectful, men meet my needs, both physically and emotionally. I can trust men. So because these are her truest beliefs, right, on a subconscious level, as a result, Alyssa gets taken out on frequent dates. Men spoil her with gifts, their time. All of her past boyfriends were emotionally available and loved spending quality time with her. Men treat her with respect. They're protective of her. But now let's take Jane. And as a child, Jane's dad was rarely attentive to her needs. He was always at work, and when he was at home, he was glued to the TV screen. She saw her mother constantly doing all of the work. Her dad made her plenty of promises, but also failed to deliver. So because Jane's dad is a male figure in her life, we can assume her self-concept regarding men is that men don't show up for me, men don't want me for love, men are not trustworthy, I am not chosen and good enough to be pursued. My needs don't get met. As a result, Jane has never had a serious relationship. Most of the men she's interested in dangle love in front of her face but never pursue anything further. They can never make time for her. She's always had to make the first move. Whenever she gets close to a guy, he somehow does something to break her trust or lies to her. Somehow, the men she goes for turn out to be jerks and absolute players. Like I said, a lot of the beliefs we have about ourselves on a subconscious level tend to come from childhood experiences, which are actually not limited to parents and caregivers. This can be extended to teachers, schools, religious institutions, television programming, our culture and society as a whole. So a bunch of stuff really. So for the first 7 to 10 years of life, some even say the first 12 years of life, are when the subconscious mind gets programmed. As kids, we're just taking things in. We don't have the executive controls to say to ourselves, hey, I know it hurt that dad didn't do that thing he promised, but that doesn't mean I'm not important. As children, we really absorb and internalize everything without screening if it's true or false. This is why young minds are so easily influenced. The self-concepts we have from childhood tend to be scripts that run on autopilot because they are deeply ingrained into our subconscious minds. Our formative years play such a huge role in shaping our beliefs, essentially shaping who we are and who we grow up to be. Alright, up until now we understand what our self-concept is and how it even formed in the first place. The next thing we have to understand is how manifestation occurs, and hopefully this will help you understand why you are always manifesting from your self-concept, and why you cannot ever stop manifesting. Seriously, it's like impossible. So the rule is we manifest whatever we are truly aware of. And there's that word again, truly. This is about true awareness and true beliefs. Whatever we deeply believe to be true about ourselves, about other people, and about the world, all of that gets outpictured, okay? And then it is reflected right back to you. I want you to think about this. Most of us have had the same beliefs for a very long time. These beliefs continue to get outpictured into the world and they become our general experiences. And as I just mentioned, the beliefs that we are truly aware of tend to be hidden in our subconscious mind, right? In that unconscious part of our consciousness. By their very nature of being subconscious, they are hidden, okay? These are hidden beliefs that you're dealing with. And unless you're really self-aware, you'll have absolutely no clue what those assumptions are. And for the most part, you're not aware of what you truly are aware of. That is, until you become aware. Anyways, this is what gets pushed out into the 3D. Okay, whatever it is that you truly believe gets pushed out. So as long as you have a pulse, as long as you are alive with a functioning brain that holds beliefs and produces thoughts and has a subconscious mind that holds those beliefs, you will always be manifesting because those beliefs are always being expressed, okay? They're always being pushed out. So you will always be manifesting. Again, you have beliefs in your consciousness, and those beliefs will be pushed out and reflected back to you. You can't really turn manifestation on or off because you can't turn your subconscious beliefs on or off. I mean, unless you really work on the unfavorable subconscious beliefs to quote-unquote turn them off, but you get what I'm saying here. But for the most part, your subconscious beliefs are just there. And this is just how it works. This is what is meant by you are always manifesting. 24/7. You've been doing it your entire life. That's why you see the same patterns but with different people. You rinse and repeat this process and it happens effortlessly. Seriously, really think about this. You've never done techniques before learning about conscious manifestation. Right? Before learning about it, you've never had to do sats or affirmations or scripting or whatever it is that you do. It's literally just your core beliefs constantly being expressed. That means all of the good and all of the bad stuff was outpictured by you. It was made manifest by you from your mind. So it doesn't matter if you knew you were doing it or not, it was still being done because you have core beliefs. The only difference now is that you're a conscious manifestor and you know that it's just you. And this is really empowering stuff. And please do not go around blaming yourself because you did not know any of this. If something is unfavorable in my life, all I have to do is change my internal core beliefs and stay faithful to my new assumptions. that's the best you can do as a human being, is change your beliefs to ones that are favorable. If you truly change who you are, again, emphasis on truly, to become the person you want to be, then you will inevitably experience life differently. So for instance, if you want your epic love of a lifetime, then change your self-concept and love to someone that knows they are worthy and deserving of love, and that love is always coming towards them. Because if you don't, when you do come across someone that you decide is the love of your life, you won't be able to sustain that relationship in a way that you want. And this applies to anything really. So if you want abundance, change your self-concept regarding finances so that when you do get the money, your self-concept supports you in keeping your riches because you know you are wealthy and you deserve to be wealthy. Okay, so hopefully by now we have a strong understanding of what the self-concept is and how it gets pushed out. But the thing that remains is, how do we actually change our self-concept? The very first step is you have to find out what your current self-concept is. I have a reverse engineering approach to this, and I highly suggest you use it. And so instead of asking you to write about yourself, it is far more useful to advise you to pick any area of your life, and I want you to write down your general life experiences in that particular area. Then I want you to watch out for major patterns. So as an example, let's just use love. Make a list of all the people you've ever been interested in, all the people you were in a relationship with, any situationships, pretty much all of your experiences, okay? I want you to write down what went wrong and exactly what you needed from each person. You'll notice a pattern with every relationship. You might notice that people usually ghost you, like they just disappear. So this would be what went wrong. And let's also say you wanted their time and attention, but they, for some reason, wouldn't make any time for you. So in this case, this would cover the what I needed aspect. So I want you to do this for each person, okay? You're just gonna write down their name, and by that, I want you to write what went wrong and what you needed. So the point of this exercise is to help you uncover the major patterns and themes. Now for this example, the themes and patterns that were uncovered are: people leave you, the people you love don't stay with you, you're not important because your needs do not get met, you are not prioritized, you don't get the time that you need. So you're gonna want to keep doing this to uncover other aspects. This is how you reflect and start to become truly aware of your I amness, right? You start to uncover those subconscious thoughts. So the next step is, once you've uncovered your hidden beliefs, you want to replace them with favorable ones. Like for this scenario, it could be, it is safe for me to trust that I am the most important person in my life, and I am important to the people I love. The people I love always make time for me. Okay, you can affirm whatever resonates with you. If you don't like affirmations, you can visualize a scene. If you can't visualize and you don't like affirming, you can even implement an auditory technique where you hear someone telling you what you want to hear about yourself. I promise the techniques don't matter. Just know that the point of a technique is to get you in that wish-fulfilled state. But a huge game changer for me, and I'm sure this is going to change your manifestation game as well, is feeling safe within myself when affirming. Or whatever technique you want to do. You want to make sure you really feel safe. And I'm mentioning affirming because that's the main technique I use. So whatever it is that you're manifesting, it has to come from a place where you feel safe within yourself. And this makes it 100 times easier to give yourself that inner experience. If you don't do this, okay, if you don't feel safe within yourself, you're not going to be able to sustain your new state. And that's probably because you'll easily get triggered by the 3D or your negative thoughts. Do not overlook or skip this step. A good way to feel safe within yourself is by simply telling yourself, it is safe for me to believe X, Y, and Z. But for the actual technique, I just want you to find a quiet place, relax, close your eyes, and tell yourself the purpose of this session is to experience who I really am. And I really want you to allow yourself to be exactly who you want to be. Keep repeating your affirmations or your scene until you feel satisfied. Keep in mind, you're not forcing yourself to feel anything, okay? You're not emoting. You're not trying to make yourself happy or joyful or excited. None of that. You're just allowing yourself to be what you want and experience what you want in your imagination. But if emotions come up naturally, that's totally fine. Just please don't force anything. As Neville says, if you're doing this correctly, it should feel like an expansion of your consciousness. Personally, whenever my affirmations start to really sink in, I feel like I'm really immersed in what I'm affirming to the point where my body sort of agrees. And sometimes, like, this is funny, but I feel like I'm floating. But the point is to relax into these new beliefs and feel safe with them so you truly start to accept them. And once you do that, you're going to notice amazing internal shifts. It's okay if you don't get there the first time, especially if you're a beginner. Don't worry about it. Do it again later. You're going to want to keep doing this until you've internally shifted. And even if you've internally shifted, if you ever fall back into a previous state, just do this again. Because we're humans, we all have our moments. Random bad thoughts and feelings show up sometimes. But the point is to remain in your power and feel safe and secure within yourself and gently redirect your thoughts. When those negative thoughts come up, acknowledge them to give them that ounce of validation they're looking for. But please do not get stuck there. Redirect your attention from them by telling yourself something like, I understand this is a concern for me, but it is safe for me to trust that my specific person loves me. It is safe for me to trust that my bills are still going to get paid. It is safe for me to believe that I am perfectly healthy. And the time it takes does not matter. Just keep going until you really change your internal state. And how can you tell you've really changed? Your actions will be different. Your thoughts will be different. You are now grounding yourself in your new identity instead of the old one. If it takes a week, then it takes a week. If it takes a month, then it takes a month, okay? So be it. The time is not important, so take it out of the equation. Remember, we want lasting, sustainable results. We want our new identity to be our permanent state of residence. Lastly, I want to emphasize that what you do outside of techniques is just as important. Okay, this part is usually overlooked, right? People do really well with techniques, but outside of techniques is when they spiral and they really let that old man win. Like I said, acknowledge them and then redirect them. Do not suppress them. Do not ignore them. Do not stifle them. Do not pretend. Because I can promise you they are going to show up even stronger the next time. Trust me, do not do any of that. If and when a bad thought comes up, you have to understand, when bad thoughts come up, especially ones that make you feel fearful and even affect the mental state you're in, it's not going to help you to constantly be flipping your thoughts because that's exhausting. The way you want to deal with your negative thoughts and fears is from a place that matches your current state. This is going to sound really counterintuitive, but honestly, this is probably one of the main things that helped me shift, is to not resist my current state. And I suppose the term that I'm looking for here is acceptance. You want to accept your current state. But I don't mean accept it in a, oh, nothing's going to change kind of way. So to drive my point home, let's say I was fine, and then all of a sudden I remembered something that my specific person did. Let's say he treated me so badly. So on a manifestation level, I understand that he treated me that way because everyone is me pushed out. My current state and my subconscious mind are not going to listen to logic. They are not going to listen to reason. So instead of telling myself he's just reflecting me, which is absolutely true, he is reflecting me, but in that moment, I really need something to shift me out of that state. It's not going to do me any good to affirm he loves me and only me, because the affirming itself is coming from a place of fear. I wouldn't be standing in my power if I affirmed like this because it's in a desperate manner. It's counterproductive. I'm only affirming those things because I'm afraid of the thought about the third party. Also, it's pointless to affirm like that because you're not even believing your affirmations. This is simply not a good approach. You see, there's a difference between acknowledging the fear and not giving it any meaning. How do you do that? How do you give the fear no meaning? It's easy, really, and it revolves around not making the fear true. So in this case, I tell myself, I hear you, I understand where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, I'm still loved and chosen. That is my truth. Okay, there's a huge difference between what I just said and being scared of the negative thought that popped up in my head by frantically affirming against it. So I would really use any negative emotion to propel me towards my state of the wish fulfilled. In this case, if I'm feeling a strong emotion, I would tell myself, yeah, he really did screw up because I don't deserve to be treated like that. He knows what he did is absolutely wrong. He knows how amazing and incredible I am and that I should not be treated like that. Do you also see how that feels a lot better to say than he's just reflecting me? Because we know that's true, right? Everyone is you pushed out. But you really want to say something to yourself that makes sense to your current state. That's going to help you get out. Again, while true, everyone is you pushed out, it's such a passive approach, but at the end of the day, we are still human beings. We still have emotions, we still have feelings, and the worst kind of feelings and emotions are the ones we suppress. So to tell yourself, yeah, he really did screw up, he knows he messed up because I'm the best and I deserve to be treated well, that's you reclaiming your power. That's you not taking a passive approach to this. This way, you're going to be standing in your power as the operant power and deciding that it doesn't mean anything. This is how you manifest even when you do have fears, even when you don't feel so good, because that really doesn't matter. It really is that easy to acknowledge, okay, fine, this thing happened, but it's still not my truth. This way, you won't screw up your manifestations, you won't be stuck in chasing technique after technique for who knows how many months, or even years, to be honest. I'm really giving you all the answers here, so if you love yourself enough to have a better life, listen to what I'm saying, okay? Stop doing all of the superficial stuff. The law of assumption is really all about you, and don't listen to anyone that tells you you can't screw it up, because you can. Why do you think Neville emphasized the importance of a mental diet so much? It's because you must keep a mental diet. And a mental diet isn't this crazy difficult thing. It's literally what I just described, which is just gently redirecting your negative thoughts. And like I said, you can even allow yourself to feel your emotions. You can have a good cry. You can feel angry, which is really good for releasing whatever trapped emotions you have, and you're gonna feel a lot better. Just don't give it any meaning. You can cry because a thought or a feeling surfaces. Don't make it true. Don't follow that thought. Do not identify with it. In those moments, that's all you gotta say to yourself. This is not true about myself. It's just a negative thought. It's just a bad feeling, but it doesn't mean anything. But everything is still gonna go well. I'm still gonna get what I want. Please take care of your mental health. Don't listen to that crap about not being able to have negative thoughts and that you have to be perfect all of the time. It's really more about the meaning you're giving those things. It's about the meaning you're giving your circumstances. Because let me tell you, if you keep doing your techniques and you do really well in your techniques, but outside of imagination, you're reacting, you're giving everything meaning, you're taking everything so seriously, you're super identified with your negative thoughts and feelings, what you're doing is literally uprooting the beautiful seeds you just planted. I mean, yeah, sometimes it feels like you're really wrestling some giant animal, especially when you're changing your self-concept, but you stick to it. You stay in your wish fulfilled because you know those negative thoughts are not real. So I've already made a video on how to deal with your negative thoughts, and it's going to complement this video so that your shift happens easily. That video is called Mastering Manifestation, How to Deal with Your Negative Thoughts Effectively. Okay, so I feel like I've been talking for a while now. You have all the tools to understand your self-concept and how to change it. Anyways, thanks for listening, and I hope this helps.